It's Thursday, May 17th. Welcome to your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including new charges against a Shelton firefighter, a major heroin bust in Norwalk, and later a preview of our newspapers this week. Kevin Coleman is in Granito with your forecast and later on a Nutmeg Sports Update. And Donna Lang will join us later to take a look back on this day in history. But first, storm cleanup continues throughout the region today, particularly in hard-hit areas like Ridgefield. Now, our own Ridgefield Press shared some photos of damage on Sib Road. 14 roads are still closed in town and schools are closed for a second day. Now, the National Weather Service confirmed late Wednesday that one tornado touched down in Southbury and Oxford, and another tornado touched down for about 9.5 miles between Beacon Falls and Hamden. Now, Eversource reports that throughout the state, over 64,000 people are without power. Now, that number is down from over 86,000 yesterday. Eversource officials say it could take until Sunday to have all power restored, but town-by-town power restoration numbers are available at eversource.com. Now, United Illuminating reports that 3,805 of its customers are in the dark today, and they have 325 personnel in the field working to restore power. And in other news, the arrest of a volunteer firefighter for arson back in February has led to new charges against the same man for allegedly possessing child pornography. Now, on Wednesday, May 16th, the Shelton Police Department arrested 57-year-old William Totora of Shelton and charged him with third-degree illegal possession of child pornography and promoting a minor in an obscene performance. Now, Totora's bond for this incident was set at $75,000. Back in February 2018, Shelton detectives began an investigation into a fire in the parking lot of Echo Hose Fire Company that happened during a past captain's dinner on February 3rd. Well, while completing that fire investigation, detectives seized Totora's cell phone, where they found photographs and video of child pornography. Now, on March 1st, Totora was arrested in connection with that fire incident. Now, Totora is still incarcerated on charges related to that fire incident, but he was arraigned yesterday in Derby Superior Court on those new charges. And in other news, Norwalk police seized 4,700 bags of heroin, as well as cocaine and steroids, following an investigation into drug trafficking. Police say that during the month of April, the Special Services Division conducted an investigation into the drug trafficking operation of 35-year-old Joseph Daniels. Now, following the investigation and hours of surveillance, police officer Mark Suda obtained 5 arrest warrants for Daniels, as well as search warrants for his residence and vehicle. Well, on March 15th, investigators observed Daniels return to his residence, at which time he was arrested. Investigators then executed those search warrants on Daniels' residence and car, and there they seized drug packing material, gloves, masks, money bands, as well as rubber bands, scales, and a money counter. Now, investigators searching Daniels' vehicle located a hidden compartment in the front passenger seat. Inside that compartment, they say they located 110 bags of heroin, as well as 40 grams of cocaine, 30 grams of raw heroin, and 2 vials of steroids. Now, during the course of that search, keys were located for 2 locations in a storage facility. Investigators obtained search warrants for both locations, and while searching there, found $55,000, as well as 4,500 bags of heroin, as well as cell phones and syringes. Now, Daniels, who is on parole, was remanded to the custody of the Bridgeport Parole Office. Lieutenant James Walsh, commander of the Special Services Division in Norwalk, said this investigation will have a significant impact on heroin and fentanyl trafficking within the city of Norwalk. And in other news, a Stamford police officer talked a woman off an I-95 overpass around 5 in the morning on Wednesday. Now, Stamford police report that they responded to the I-95 overpass on East Main Street on the report of a woman attempting to jump off of the bridge. Now, officers arrived to find a 30-year-old female on the small ledge of the bridge contemplating jumping off. The Connecticut State Police also responded, and they closed traffic on I-95 northbound while Officer Mike Doobie was able to talk that woman back over the railing. Now, the woman was brought to Stamford Hospital for treatment. Stamford police say they've noticed a rise in calls dealing with people in crisis. They say, thankfully, due to Officer Doobie's efforts, this had a good ending. But if you know someone who is in need of assistance, you should attempt to get them professional assistance through an organization such as the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. You can find more information at suicidepreventionlifeline.org. And a man contacted Darien police on May 10th after receiving $2,500 in counterfeit cash during a Craigslist exchange. Now, that victim had placed a high-end camera for sale on the online classifieds website on May 7th and received a text message from someone interested in purchasing the camera. Well, that purchaser said he would come from Long Island to pick up the camera from the Starbucks on the Post Road in Darien on May 10th. That victim met with the buyer just before 5 p.m. He was described, the purchaser, as a Hispanic male with a thin mustache and black bun haircut, wearing khakis and a white button-down shirt, standing on the sidewalk and holding a red and black duffel bag. Well, they sat down inside with the camera, and the victim noticed that the buyer did not seem to be familiar with the device. When asked, the man said the camera was intended to be a gift for his father. Well, that man placed the camera inside of the bag and pulled out a number of bills, counting out the $2,500 in cash to give to the complainant. That man then left the Starbucks, but the victim noticed that one of those $100 bills did not have the standard watermark when held up to the light. He then attempted to text the buyer multiple times, but received no response, prompting him to call the police, who are currently investigating. And in other news, firefighters in Bridgeport battled a blaze that heavily damaged a 3-story residence on Kelsey Street around 4:30 Wednesday afternoon. Now, our own HAN's own John Kovach was on the scene. That fire, which produced clouds of thick black smoke visible from I-95, went to 2 alarms before it was finally extinguished. All right, taking a turn now, we're going to throw it over to Kevin Coleman for a look at your forecast. Kevin.
All right, Kate, thank you very much. The rain does not want to go away just yet. We have rain throughout the afternoon hours. As we have rain here, you see Route 8 out here. Nice little view there, but the remaining cloudy with showers in the afternoon, a high of 72, so it's going to remain warm, but we're going to have showers throughout the afternoon. Overcast tonight with a slight chance of a rain shower around the 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. hours, closer to midnight as well, a low of 56. Looking towards tomorrow, cloudy, slight chance of a rain shower in the mid to late afternoon hours, a high near 60. Saturday, rain early on and off throughout the afternoon hours. Showers late as well Saturday night, low near 55. And on Sunday, we wrap up the weekend with showers and thunderstorms, a high of 76. And Kate, I can say that Monday, there will be no rain and some sunshine. So we're getting out of this.
All right,
back to you.
Okay, thanks so much, Kevin. We are going to step out for a break, come back. Donald Eng will take a look back on this day in history. We have more local news and your Nutmeg Sports Update after this. Spring is in bloom, and so are the deals at Honda of Westport's Dream Garage Spring event. See and test drive the all-new 2018 Honda Clarity 110 MPG plug-in hybrid sedan. Stop in today and see why we've been named Deal Rater's Dealer of the Year for the 4th year running. Honda of Westport, where peace of mind is part of the deal. Get a fresh start to the new year by shaking up your meal routine. Walter Stewart's Market is your local source for a delicious selection of fresh and convenient salad shakers, like Southwest salad with chicken, Cobb with organic chicken, Power Vegan with fruit and quinoa, Greek salad with tabbouleh, and grilled shrimp with hominy. Grab one from our salad case or order from our deli today. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
Dr. Stephen Molinaro and Peter Healy of Family Practice Dentistry and Laser Dental Care have served Ridgefield for over 22 years. Experienced staff offer gentle drillless techniques, preventative care, and cosmetic procedures in a relaxed environment. Grateful for the community's trust and support through the years, new patients and their families are welcome. Call today.
I've had Newtown Savings Bank my whole life. You don't have to worry about talking to a machine. You're talking to real people. You're getting real help. I'm banking local, and I'm loving it.
Welcome back to this May 17th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. Time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng. Don.
Well, Kate, we've got some American legal news highlighting today's history look back, starting in 1769, when George Washington brings a package of non-importation resolutions before the Virginia House of Burgesses to protest the Townshend Acts, which had replaced the repealed Stamp Act. Now, Washington that under British law, only the Virginia Burgesses could tax Virginians, since Virginia did not have a representative in Parliament. Now, he never actually used the phrase no taxation without representation, but it was the beginning of that philosophical and legal argument. The meeting did end with passage of what became known as the Virginia Resolves of 1769. Moving forward now to 1792, 24 New York stockbrokers form an agreement to operate under a set commission rate and to give preference to each other. This came to be known as the Buttonwood Agreement since it was signed under the Buttonwood tree at 68 Wall Street. Since then, the New York Stock Exchange has grown from 3 to 2,400 listings worth an estimated $19.3 trillion, that's 12 zeros, dollars. 1954, the U.S. Supreme Court hands down a unanimous decision in the Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas. The court's decision was based on the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, which guaranteed equal protection under law, but it did not specify any remedy for eliminating racial segregation, ordering only that states do so with all deliberate speed. Finally, now we go to 1996 in the Oval Office for this.
Maureen Kanka, Patty Wetterling, Mark Klass, and John Walsh have suffered more than any parent should ever have to suffer. They have lived through the greatest pain a parent can know, a child brutally ripped from a parent's love. And somehow they found within themselves the strength to bear a further burden. They took up the parents' concerns for all children's safety and dedicated themselves to answering that concern. Each of you deserves the fullest measure of your country's thanks.
Bill Clinton signing a measure requiring neighborhood notification when sex offenders move into the neighborhood. He mentioned the names of the parents there. The first two were the parents of 7-year-old Megan Kanka, who had been abducted and killed in 1994 by a repeat sex offender. Officially, what Clinton signed was an amendment to the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994. It has colloquially become known as Megan's Law. That is your look back in history for today, May 17th. I'm Donald Ing.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, Weston Animal Control Officer Mark Harper said his office has been deluged with calls about coyote sightings and aggressive behavior. Harper said they've been seen all over town, so he wants to warn people to keep track of their dogs and cats when their pets are outside. Now, at this time of the year, Harper said coyote pups are transitioning from milk to red meat, and they are now hunting. Now, coyotes are quiet and sneaky and will stalk small animals, especially in the early morning and at night. Harper said that coyotes are looking for food and will snatch cats and small dogs from yards. Now, adult coyotes are competing with foxes, bobcats, and fisher cats for rodents and whatever food they can find for their babies. You can get more on that story at aspetuck.news. And for the first time since 2015, Trumbull residents will be able to swim at Beach Park's pool on Memorial Day weekend. That according to First Selectman Vicky Tesoro and Superintendent of Parks and Recreation, Dimitri Paris. Now, repairs to the pool's liner, which has been an ongoing problem for the past 3 years, has been completed. Tesoro said that the town was able to acquire state grant money to pay for nearly half the cost of those repairs. She said the job was done on time, done correctly, and came in under budget. Now, Beach Pool will be open on Saturday, May 26th from noon to 6 p.m., and the hours will remain the same until the school year is complete, at which point Tashawa Pool will also open and summer hours will begin. In other news, New Canaan's Town Council approved $6.99 million in capital projects Wednesday night. Now, these projects include $1 million to get the Waveney Mansion up to compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act. Projects that are expected to include an elevator, renovated or new bathrooms, and access routes. Now, an additional 5th paddle tennis court in Waveney Park was approved at $70,000. Now, that $105,000 project will proceed if the $35,000 balance is raised from private donors. Now, 6 school facility projects were approved as well, totaling $558,000. Now, the projects that may be most noticeable are a new playground at East School, an improved sound system in the high school auditorium, and remediation of water incursion problem at West School. Now, a walking trail with a fine stone surface has also been approved for the newly improved cornfield section of Waveney Park with the $50,000 cost. Now, the town is expecting the Waveney Park Conservancy to match that amount, which would allow for extending that renovated trail to be longer. Now, you can find out about the other capital projects approved at ncadvertiser.com. And the Wilton Brick Club will celebrate Prince Harry's marriage to Meghan Markle with a right royal knees up on Saturday, May 19th. To add to the hoopla, the FA Cup final kickoff is at 7 that evening. Now, a knees up is a Cockney slang for a big party, and a right royal knees up is slang for a bigger, more raucous party. Now, that club offers British expats here an opportunity to socialize with fellow countrymen and women. You can get more information by emailing them at thewiltonbrickclub@gmail.com. All right, taking a turn now, we're going to throw it over to Kevin Coleman, who is super excited for the royal wedding with your Nutmeg Sports Update. Right, Kevin? I saw you cheering. And I know it was
cheering for
wedding.
another reason. Yes,
right.
The royal wedding is very exciting, but I'm cheering for the FA Cup final, Manchester United versus Chelsea. I know our director, Mike Suppy's not happy in the control room, but we have some lacrosse to go over from last night. They did get some game-ins last night. New Canaan took down Trumbull 11-7, and Staples beat Mamaroneck in overtime 14-13, and rounding up in boys lacrosse, Wilton a big win over Norwalk 18-3, and in girls lacrosse, New Canaan took down St. Joe's 19-4. The win gave head coach Kristen Woods her 200th win, and tonight we will be at Dunning Field at New Canaan High School for FCAC girls lacrosse quarterfinals. We're going to have number 7 Ludlow taking on those number 2 New Canaan Rams. It'll be myself and John Kovach on the call. Kate, are you going to get up and watch the royal wedding on Saturday?
We'll see. I think I might be tempted to do it. I mean, I want to see what happens, even though I know whenever I wake up, there'll be coverage of it everywhere. So we'll see what happens. All right. Thanks so much, Kevin. We are going to step out for a break. When we come back, our editorial director, John Kovach, joins me to preview our front pages this week after this.
At Pamby Motors, we're not worried about being the biggest dealership. We're focused on being the best. We're dedicated to giving you the best experience we can. The Pamby Motors team is here to help you choose the right Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram in a friendly, pressure-free environment. And right now, during Ram Truck Month, get up to $14,000 off on all in-stock 2017 Ram 1500 pickups. Come in and see us for details. Visit Pamby Motors, Route 7 in Ridgefield, PambyZone.com.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Ortho Connecticut Walk-In Urgent Care gives you direct access to orthopedic specialists fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Ortho Connecticut Walk-In Urgent Care can help. Open 7 days a week now at 4 locations: Norwalk, Darien, Westport, and Danbury. Go to myorthoct.com, like them on Facebook.
Create your dream home at Laurel Ridge. 3 bedrooms, 2-car garages, finished basements, wooded and lake views, recreation facilities galore. Stay connected to your local lifestyle with the convenience of being just minutes away from Fairfield County. Luxury townhomes that are smart, elegant, custom, and maintenance-free.
At Pamby Motors.
Welcome back to this Thursday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, joined now by our editorial director, John Kovach, to preview our newspapers out today. John, what are you looking at first?
In Easton, which is part of Region 9, they're dealing with revisions to the budget. Rejected by voters last week, they've decided what cuts they're going to make in an attempt to get it passed in another referendum later this month. What have you got, Kate?
All right, taking a look at the Trumbull Times story we just mentioned, and that's that Beach Pool will open on time this year, which many residents are excited about. Also, a Democratic challenger emerging in the 123rd District. That's Sujata Gadkar-Wilcox. She will challenge Dave Ritigliano. Some sad news, and that's that an off-duty Trumbull volunteer firefighter killed in a crash over this past weekend.
That volunteer firefighter, a native of Stratford, which is also covering that awful story. An apartment plan on James Farm Road rejected. And the big news that is getting a lot of play in and around Stratford, redistricting with the schools involving busing and segregation, a word being mentioned in this debate. This is one that's going to, I think, get and stay a little bit heated
Definitely. All right, taking a look at the Monroe Courier this week, an overflow crowd debating some new zoning regulations, the proposals for those causing some controversy in town. Also, Mrs. Monroe, the Monroe Citizen of the Year, Kay Inderhonen, she was honored for all of her work in town. And the Discovery Zone Pavilion moving forward. Very cool there. Like to see that at Webb Mountain Discovery Zone. Yeah, very cool.
In Darien, the representative town meeting approved a decreased budget and mill rate for 2018-19 for Selectman Jamie Stevenson, attempting to force a primary as she tries to run for the lieutenant governor position. The Darien Community Association holding its annual plant sale, the second annual showdown on the Sound coming up this weekend, and the latest on the arrest of Darien High School's freshman lacrosse coach.
All right, taking a look at the Weston Forum this week. Weston Schools getting a $1 million appropriation to cover some unanticipated special education costs. Also an interesting story we've been following this week. Weston families raising the money for a graduation tent after it was eliminated from the budget. Their deadline to do that is actually today. So you should stay tuned to AskPawtucket.news to see if they make it.
In Shelton, they are also mourning that volunteer firefighter killed in an accident in Fairfield. Shelton police are looking for an alleged purse thief and have provided surveillance photos. And the future of the Echo Hose Firehouse will be determined as there are some structural issues with that department's headquarters.
All right, taking a look at the Wilton Bulletin this week, a consensus of denial for a Cannon Road subdivision there. Also, some retail and residential plan for Route 7. You can see a rendering of what that could potentially look like on the front page. And Woodcock Nature Center's new director, Lenore Eggleston Herbst. More on her.
Bit of a surprise in Milford as the minority leader of the Board of Aldermen gets the pick to run for the 14th District State Senate seat, that currently held by Democrat Gail Schlossberg. Milford saves nearly $2 million by staying with Anthem for its health insurance, and the duck race returning on June 9th.
All right, taking a look at the New Canaan Advertiser this week, some photos and follow-up coverage of the St. Mark's May Fair held recently. Also, Selectmen okaying a public safety antenna on a private barn. This would help with emergency radio communication between responders and dispatch. Also, no service cuts or fare hikes coming on the New Canaan rail line this year.
In Ridgefield, voters approved the budget, but turnout was kept low by the storm, which roared through about the time people were going to be heading home from work. And two photos that were sent in, and one with just a... If you have any question about the power of electricity and what can happen, you can see it in that top photo in the Ridgefield Press. Just stay away from down power lines and poles. The town's going to get an unpaved lot near the bridge on Route 35. Teacher of the Year is Jennifer DeJulio, who gave the green light to student activism and food trucks. At the brewery, nice. It's a question and a petition. Food trucks seem to be frequently debated in Ridgefield.
Yes. All right, taking a look at the Reading Pilot this week, of course, another photo of some of the damage throughout the area there. And former state Representative John Shaben, he will primary to run for Connecticut's Attorney General. So more on that in this week's Reading Pilot.
Our Arts and Leisure section takes a look at an Aldrich Museum exhibit, The Domestic Plane. And this is new perspectives on tabletop art objects. And with summer just about a week away, takes a look at picnics.
All right, and also in our papers this week is Summerscapes, getting you ready for that. A preview of what's coming up in Fairfield County's farmers markets. And my favorite, a feature on some good beach blanket page turners.
What are you going to read?
I don't know. I have to figure it out. I haven't decided yet.
There you go.
All right. So that's what's in our papers this week. John, you have Yankee Fisherman coming up at 1 o'clock?
Yankee Fisherman at 1. We will talk about kayak fishing and the latest in that equipment with two kayak dealers. We're also going to talk about a new take on a very old and established lure type, plus an update on an opportunity to win really a custom reel to help an angler's family as they deal with medical bills as they fight their young son's leukemia.
All right, that coming up at 1 o'clock on Yankee Fisherman. We're going to wrap things up here. Coffee break will be on a bit of a break until Tuesday, but stay tuned to all the live sports actions that will be on the HAN network. We are going to wrap things up here, but have a great day. We'll see you soon.